Previously on Spectated. If you're trying to all in the Sigma too much and you're basically just running at them, don't be afraid to go into the block sequence. That will help you survive a little bit more if you want to do that playstyle. Good aggression. You start to back up a lot in the middle of a team fight as Ramattra. I think you're afraid that they're gonna like one-shot you when you get aggressive. Like, don't be afraid to take a little bit more space there, right? Like play the corner here. Start to pressure them back. Just go in. Yep. You don't have to peel. Just go in. Go in. This is where I think you're playing a little bit too safe at times. You're so worried about what's happening right here and like making sure this cart gets pushed rather than going here and trying to get free kills. Where are they now? All right, so today's video, we are back with another episode of Where Are They Now? The way it works is we're going to be watching a VOD of a player from a year ago, and we're going to see what they have improved on, what they still need to work on, and then we have a mini bingo card to go with it to track that. The stuff in orange is the things I gave them advice on last time. If I check that off, that's a good thing. We want to make sure that they are doing some of the stuff that we worked on. You can tell by this bingo card, there was a good amount of stuff that we did there. So the things in orange, things you need to work on. And then the other part is like just normal bingo card stuff, okay? They say, hi again. It's been a year since you VOD'd me. Oh, that's a VOD'd you, okay. And I like to think I made some incredible progress. This game immediately made me think of the VOD because of how poorly it started and what the problem was. A hazard was wreaking havoc in my backline. This time, instead of swapping to peel, I committed to a strategy that worked a lot better, pressuring and trading with the enemy backline, which we talked about this, I remember in the last one. I like to think I'm doing a much better job at cycling Ramatra's cooldowns, along with hitting crucial slows to confirm kills and taking advantage of his insane survivability and actually taking proper space. I'll admit, I didn't do a good job of that before. Don't worry though, I still made plenty of mistakes, some bad habits, and some just silly. Thank you always for your time and for being a positive force in the community. My sister and I still enjoy tuning in together when we can. And P.S. My sister wants you to know she saw the video where you VOD reviewed someone deaf and thought it was so cool and made her very happy. She's deaf as well, so it's always nice to see that struggle get recognized. Props to your editor for adding captions to that video. She thought it was very cute and cool. That makes me happy. Thank you. Thank you for that, by the way. It's very kind. Let's do this. Good start to the video. All right, let's start. All right. Oh, also, I think I forgot to mention it, but Chad, they were Diamond 5 last year on Xbox. Also, the video, like to this, will be, the previous one will also be linked in the description if you wanted to see that. All right, randomly AFK at the start. That's the way to do it. Okay, so there's the hazard. Holding the choke. I do want to give a bit of feedback on this play because this is a gameplay loop that sometimes I struggle with on Ramattra. Try not to waste your Nemesis form when nothing's really happening yet. The primary fire on like non-Nemesis form is pretty strong. So like, don't just like use Nemesis form. So the reason why I'm saying this is because if I saw this and I'm on the enemy team and I'm the other tank, I know I have a timer now just to basically shred your team or even you because you don't have the cooldown to survive. So what I'm saying is just be slightly wary sometimes of overusing that cooldown because it can cause some problems. So. All right, because most of it right now has been this, where you... Now, I know you mentioned this part, but I do want to point out to you that you did peel for the hazard, and I just want to get that in your mind again, even though you did mention that you know this happened, but this is for anybody. The reason why you don't want to peel for the hazard in this situation is that if you give up the space, see this giant shield here? This could have been used eventually for here, and then when the hazard goes in, the line of sight of the heals is blocked, see? So not only are you preventing the damage from there, then you can go back in pretty easily. Instead, there's a chance here you just lose the team fight and you gave up all that space because of hazard. Literally, all this hazard had to do was do this. Ready? One leap here, and then one leap here, and that was it. That was all it took for a hazard to create a bunch of space. So I just don't want to see you get into the habit again of falling for like that type of play because that's how you end up right here immediately. Like there needs to be some pushback to their backline. Otherwise, this happens, right? Now, there's going to be moments where you kill the hazard there, but like that's going to be a lot more rare in my opinion. Yep. See, even here, do you notice how now, like, even though your team's dead at the hazard, like, it was only the hazard. Now your team has to be able to deal with that themselves. I think you just made a mistake on the first point. I've been there. I'll probably still make that mistake sometimes in King's Row. It's easier said than done when it's happening in real time, right? But it's good to point that out. All right, so second point, obviously, you want to retake together. It's okay if you wait a little bit here, I'd say. But just because your teammate was coming back. But no, it looks like everything's fine. They left their team out. Now, see what their tank did? They left their teammate there. If you're the tank there and you're that far up, you need to stay there until your teammate's back away. So that was actually a bit of a misstep by their tank, so that works out. Yep, worry about their backline a little bit more. Yeah. I know you see the hazard, but I want you to ignore them. Okay. Do you notice again how even though your teammates are getting picks, they're still getting space? They're still creating space even in like 3v5s because you're still turning for the hazard, which is giving them all this space. I know they have like a Juno Altair, etc., but like the point I'm making is you've been getting the picks on their team, yet you're still giving up all the space. See? And that's the problem. Wait. All right, their hazard got a little bit too aggro. One thing I'll say here is, like, so far you are still playing fairly passive for what you could be doing here. Like, their hazard's giving your team like a kill there. All right. You're gonna ult this, aren't you? This is okay. There you go. Good play. Great combo there by your teammates. Good ult decision. Excellent play. Now, granted, you did have help from your Wu Yang, but do you notice that you can be aggressive on their backline? There was a 0-limb ultimate by their Anran. You know what? We'll check it off in a second here. Good call. What rank were they? Originally Diamond 5. So far, I think they climbed. Truthfully. I've done that with the Vortex, by the way. All right. Now, this is where I would like you to be, well, I was going to say I would like you to be aggressive, but then the Reaper killed 3, so go in. Just go for it. At this point, why not trade the kill? Yeah. Correct play right there. You're winning team fights off of, like, the Nanos or, like, the Wu Yang. Great job by your supports. But have you noticed that, like, the more and more that you get aggressive on their backline, it's just going well? When you're not getting the support, you're playing very scared. But when you do get the support, you go in aggressively and make plays. You can do this without support. You just need to play cover, play walls, and time it correctly. Right now, it feels like you're heavily reliant on your teammate kind of being like, hey, come on, go in there. Like, go make a play, right? Again, you don't even have to go into their team and start punching. You just need to be able to take some map control. And that's how that goes. We'll take a second here, and we're going to check off randomly wasted abilities. 0-limb ultimate earlier. It doesn't have to be the Ramattra. It was on the Anran. Okay, here we go. Anyway. With Vortex. I do like the Vortex selection. Some people have been taking the healing one. Yeah, you want to run. Yeah, I would have ran prior to that too, but like I kind of was editing some stuff. I was kind of doing the bingo card thing. I like the Vortex one better, and let me explain why. So the Vortex one, the reason why I like it better is I find that I'm able to like kind of slow down their push a lot. Sometimes that's all you need to stop a team fight from kind of like snowballing into like a lost one. Even though the healing one is good for self-sustain, the truth is that if you played like the proper positioning and you play corners the way that you're supposed to, you're not going to have to rely on that heal Vortex as much as you think you should. I just like that one better for being able to kind of stall them out and also kind of separate the teams in the way that benefits me. Point being is if you play your positioning correctly on Ramattra, you won't have to rely on the healing Vortex as much, and you should be in a pretty good spot. In this situation, the numbers are split, so yeah, I love this. There you go. This is what I'm talking about. There you go. Yes. No. Don't turn. No. You can back up, but I don't want you to turn away from them in that situation. Keep this in mind. Don't do this right now. You can back up to get to your spots without turning your back like this. Because like, even when you're backing up, you can pressure them with your shots. Even if you do 35 damage to this Reaper while backing up, that goes a long way in a team fight. It doesn't seem like a lot, but anything you can do to slow down anything that they're doing is the correct play. Yep. For anybody wondering, that was the correct decision not to use the ultimate there, in my opinion. I think if you use the ultimate there, you're probably just going to lose the team fight and waste your ult. Sometimes, like, it's okay to realize a point is lost without wasting your ult economy and just taking over the next time. You hear the Reaper, but... Wow. That was a good play by the Reaper. Yeah, by the way, I still need to get you in the habit of not wasting your Nemesis form sometimes. A little bit of a note for anybody playing Ramattra. Actually, I'll let it keep going here. Right here. One thing I was going to say with Ramattra, by the way, is if you ever waste your Nemesis form and you feel like you're not going to get value with it, it's okay to just basically... It's okay to basically just, like, hit your Nemesis form button again to start that cooldown again. I'm okay with the ultimate. You're just trying to create the space and retake the time and back, and I'm okay with that. So, Bellacore, thank you for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Thank you. So, the Ramattra play has been good, by the way. I think, like, at the beginning, you started off going into some of those old habits, and then now you... Yep, this is correct. By the way, like chat, like this is the little things that win games. So rather than just like run back here when you're about to lose a team fight, just die in cart, right? If you were to back away as Ramattra to here and let this card push, it's gonna be hard to be able to retake this efficiently. Dying on the card here, this is why it's really good to go for backline plays or just to basically not fall for whatever's happening here, because now you basically have guaranteed another team fight, a pretty clean team fight at that, right? I would go off the map here. As I say that, you fall back. Die on the cart. You did everything right until you didn't. It was fine. I mean, look what your retake is. Teammates are getting a little bit too ambitious. Shoot the wall. Okay. Okay, good job. And yes, you can stun the Reaper all with that. Yep. Either way, just so you know, you got the clock under a minute. This is gonna be fine. I think your attack can go really well. Okay. But yeah, it wasn't a bad half out of you. It could have been better. But I think that you start to figure that out. I actually believe you don't play too passive behind your team now. I'm going to check that one off now. I think you've done a good job of that. And the reason why I say that is because most of the time, even though you turn too much, you're also still holding your spot as like a tank. So I think that one's pretty good. That's it for now. We'll look at that after. So you want to get to the right side here. Yes. And you don't have to necessarily... There you go. Yep. Right target selection. There you go. And now the hazard feels like they're obligated to go for you. Boom. Perfect. Put a shield behind him. Excellent. Clean start. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And this is a reminder to everybody playing Overwatch. You can do the same things on defense. Okay? What happens a lot of the time is players will have a really good attack and play style and a really bad defensive play style because they think they have to play more defensively, which is partly true, but isn't like... You can do the same thing you would do on attack once the fight breaks out. So, good start. I love the target priority of not going just for the hazard. Right now, the hazard's on their back foot, and they're just like looking at you the whole time, right? Yep, you're doing the right thing. Yes, there you go. Oh, excellent. Now, what happens there if you just shoot at the hazard the whole time? The Juno gets out, they have a better retake. Now you're going to get a cleanup kill on hazard. That is what I'm talking about. That is way better than last time. While the tank was there, you're still ignoring the tank to go get that kill. That was perfect way to go about that. You're not letting the tank distract you, and the tank is basically taking themselves out of the team fight. So, a much better approach right there. Very clean. Taking the map control, taking the space right now, backing up because you don't have the rest of your team with you. All of that was excellent. I think it's fun. If you haven't checked it out, there's a whole playlist of all the ones we've done, and then the videos are in the description, too. Yes! Thank you! Chat, I love this. There we go. Do you see what I mean? So rather than just sitting there and being distracted by their whole team, you go for their backline. Look at this. Honestly, was that the Serpentine? But there you go. Like, look at that. Yes, well, exactly. And I think that's what the advice I'm going to end up giving to this player is kind of what you said of that attack versus the defense mindset. Okay, so let's talk about the next part. This is called everything's going well, I'm vibing type of play. How I know this? This is one of my weaknesses on tank. I do the same thing. It's like, dude, we're rolling right now. I'm keeping this momentum going, baby. At this point, when you get to a spot where you get all those picks, play a little bit safer. Unless your team's going with you, right? If you have your whole team pushing up here, that's fine. But I'd rather see you kind of stay around this area, isolate out maybe like this Reaper or something, but play to live there. So a little bit too aggro by you there, but I get the vision because I've done that before too. What am I, Q and roll? Q, not today. And this is excellent, by the way. I'm loving this. Like, even though you're losing the team fight, what you're doing is correct. Like, going for their backline is the correct play. Because, like, in 5v5 Overwatch nowadays, the truth is with, like, how it plays out when you start to climb and, like, get into, like, the higher ranks, etc., is, like, your backline needs to be very self-sufficient. Like, you can't rely on your tank anymore to basically make sure you stay alive during that. The way that you're playing it of understanding that you just can't help with it. Dude, I was, wait a second. I need to rewind for a second. I'm confused. Did they, like, storm arrow the... Yes, it was a storm arrow. I was like, dude, because watch the Ramattra, like, huh? What? The Hanzo storm arrowed off the wall right here, and it bounced off the wall and then went to the Ramattra here. Because storm arrow ricochets. So the Hanzo storm arrow this wall, and then it hit the Ramattra over here. I was just as confused. I'm like, dude, where did that come from? Yep. Now, this is correct because you can't push back just yet because your team is having pressure, like, from other stuff. So you're just making sure the hazard can't get to them. So you're kind of being that stalwart for now, and then eventually you'll go and trade. Now this is a spot where you can just kill hazard. Someone's top left. I know this because I can see the spectator thing. Also, a little bit of a sign here. If you see a... Did it actually do that? Yeah, the Juno thing went all the way far back here. Sometimes a Juno torpedo can kind of like snitch on their own team. So yeah. Remember what happened last time. You already killed the hazard, so the last thing you want to do here is give up the kills, but I do. Your team's here, you're good. Your team's here, you're good. Make sure your team's there. Good job. Now, if you had 3 on cart, just to give you an idea, by the way, I would have put 3 on cart, to be honest with you. But I wanted to see how that team fight played out. Do you notice how there was a slight chance right there? When you get a kill on a tank and they only have 3 alive, 3 on cart, you just win. Even all the snowball you could get here, it ain't worth the 20% chance you lose a team fight rather than the 100% chance you do win. So, just a note there to remember. You can still be aggro, just let your team know to have 3. I would be aggressive on the I keep saying Ramattra, the hazard for a second, but I want you to go backline once your teammates get up here. You can go in. Yep. You gotta go. Never mind. I was gonna say you gotta go a little bit defensive there, but then you got this out. Good job. Correct play. Chat, you notice how the Ramattra has now taken the backline control? The hazard's in a really weird spot, and now it's just on the team surviving this. You falling back here is the correct play because there's only a Hanzo in front of you, right? That's kind of on you. The Hanzo ult was there. You knew it was there. You needed to immediately go into Nemesis for and block out. So just a bit of a mismanagement of your cooldown thing. One thing I will say is if you can be a little bit more active with these vortexes. There you go. Like what you did with that one, though. That was a good location. Yep. Play defensive for now. Okay. That's fine. Backed up a little bit. Put a shield up for your Bastion. Yeah, that shield was... I wanted you to go a little bit further up with it, but that was the right idea. You want to keep your Bastion alive. Did they even get anybody with that? They did. There it is. Getting the kill. Nice vortex. Remember, that vortex is going to look off, chat, but that's the vortex where if you double hit your button, it will land in the spot. So it actually was good. Yep, correct play here. Oh, you just got this. Easy. A bit of a note, just a small note there. If you're going to peek this hallway, just put a shield up. It's not worth taking the risk of like a bunch of burst damage at once from the team. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of like a note of like, just be careful in that situation, okay? And then we're going to go to the card now. So I just want to talk about a couple things. I do think like you've done a really good job finally of understanding map control. So I'm going to check off that box. You have done a great job. I think that you're understanding the concept of it. On defense, it was a little bit rough, but like I think it's because you just have that like attack versus defender like mindset that somebody had mentioned. And that's kind of true, is like you can do the same things you're doing on attack. So I want you to take that there. But I think this is good enough to check off. Give enough space. I think initially on defense you struggle with that, but then the rest of the game you've done a good job of that. The running it down an enemy tank one. I'm trying to remember what I had this one for, because like you're doing a good job of not chasing the tank anymore. So we'll check that off. You get aggressive in a numbers advantage. You're not letting the other tank make proactive plays anymore. You're both being proactive. You're using your Ramattra block. You're not holding your ultimate for too long. Have you done everything I've asked? You took advantage of a numbers advantage. Like, am I wrong? Like, I feel like this player listened to every bit of advice from the previous video. Like, it feels like everything that we talked about that was going wrong a year ago that you've done. Also, I'm just going to check off bad positioning. I just think that everybody's having bad positioning in this game. Like, this is in the whole lobby. This is just a regular bingo card. And then your teammates are always out of line of sight. Okay, cool. That's just everybody. That's just a normal, like, bingo thing. It's kind of a throwaway at that point. But anyway, good job, by the way. I just want to point that out. Like, I have seen huge progress from you. Good space creation. I'm loving this, man. Health pack awareness right in front of you. You can take the health. You could have gone an extra second if you wanted to get that health pack, but just remember there's a health pack there. Great job. Put your shield up in a second for your team. Exactly what you need to do. If you wanted to get aggressive here, you can, as long as your team is there with you. Yeah, they're going to have to run the point one by one. Go for the Juno. Ignore the hazard. Excellent job. Now go into block mode. Clean. I straight up, like, all the advice we gave a year ago, you have applied. I will have some advice at the end of this video. Like, it's going to be pretty simple, though. And I think if you do exactly what I talked about, I think you're going to be in a good spot. Yeah, there's just kind of this. I feel like this was your team had a good moment, and you all got aggressive because you just had a good defense and you're running on that adrenaline, and then you just need to slow down for a second and then go in and take that stuff. Yes. I mean, chat, like, I just want to point out, sometimes you just hear me go, yes! Dude, you want to know why I did that? Because the Ramattra targeted the pylon first, recognizing that if you leave the pylon up, that could win a team fight for the other team. Just simple things like that can make or break a whole team fight. You recognizing that you had the time to kill the pylon and then go into Nemesis form after, I just love it. All right, here we go. Yep, trying to play to live. I would recommend, okay, there's something you've done wrong here that I want you to, you're going to maybe still win this team fight because of the HP, but like, when you started to like lose that team fight a little bit, I wanted to see you kind of, what in the heck is going on here? Dude, Cassidy's like, got this draw, baby! What? Look at Cass. Heck yeah, dude! Woohoo! What a draw! If your team does draw, which I think you're going to draw, I don't think Goofy Goober over here on Soldier is going to win this team fight. I'm going to pause it here because I think this is a great spot to pause on. In a situation where you get picks, but you're not quite winning the team fight, I would actually recommend to slow it down a little bit to give your teammates time to get back. I don't think you're going to win this team fight by just basically soloing them. If you were at like 90 on ult charge, I don't mind you going for an aggressive, like, get my ultimate, go for a play, risk reward. In that situation, just play to live because your spawns are much closer and they only have 3 here. So if you can buy some time, maybe your Soldier 76 comes back, cleans up on their team, and then you win the game. So a little bit of a misstep there, but like it wasn't like a huge deal. It's just like I think that you could have found a way to win this game by just playing a little bit safer there. But again, that's just how that goes. So just to go here very quickly, we're going to check off really long team fight. Tanks never really fell over in this game, I feel like both tanks did a good job, so I can't check that off. Listen, you have made a huge amount of progress since last year. It feels like you understand the concept of backline trading, going for backline plays, all of that. But the one thing I really want you to focus on is that attack versus defense mentality. I feel like on attack, you understand it. On defense, you play a little bit safer. Partially, part of defense will be playing safer. But when the team fight starts to break out, go into that attack mindset, and I think you're going to have a much better like go of things. But overall, like, great job. I mean, if you clean that up, don't waste your, like, remember the Nemesis form you wasted on defense? Like, little things like that, I think you're going to continue to climb. Now, here's the question, though. Did this player climb? I'm gonna say they've gone up a full rank. Maybe I'm dumb. I think they're like Masters 4 or something right now. Masters 5, maybe even higher than that. Because mechanically, I'm seeing some really good plays. The way that the game is playing out, I'm also looking at their team. Their team is kind of setting themselves up in pretty solid spots. So I do think you've actually climbed. The new rank is currently Masters 5 with a Masters 2 peak and a 72% win rate last season on Ramattra. How about that? A whole rank ahead, and then also had a 72% win rate last season on Ramattra. That is in progress. I don't know what is. Great job. And real talk, like, even though like you picked up on the advice we gave you, the props goes to you. You're the one putting the work in. You're the one playing. You're the one doing all that stuff. So full credit to you. You played great here, and continue on. Remember what we talked about, because I think you can be on that road to GM very soon. Also, check that ranked up off, because why not? Anyway, if you like the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't, leave a comment. All that helps. If you want to watch the previous video of this, we'll have it in the description. Submit your own spectators to even get started on this part. My Discord's where to do that. And we're going to have the other video. Actually, we'll have the other video, the previous video, pop up on the bottom here, somewhere on the side. So click it if you want to see how it was. And with that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day/night.